Well, happy Thanksgiving Eve to everybody as we have a special edition of our Wednesday virtual tasting of our featured effin' beer of the week. And we've got a doozy for you this week. We've got our Cranberry Frost. It's a golden strong ale that actually has dried cranberries. This has become a kind of a cult favorite for Thanksgiving beer. It perfectly pairs with a traditional Thanksgiving meal with those cranberries and with just the deliciousness of it at all. You're going to learn more about cranberries, you're going to learn more about this beer, and we're going to taste it and we're going to have some fun. So, the night before Thanksgiving, and we're drinking some Cranberry Frost. Well, what is this beer? It's a strong golden ale, and it's a hefty beer, and it's 7.3% alcohol by volume and 72 IBUs. So it's got a punch of hops in there too. There is actually a lot of hops in there. It's not really that overly bitter, but it's really well balanced, and it just really plays well. We did a half barrel batch, 15.5 gallons. We used London water, and we used the Imperial brand Kaiser yeast, which is a German yeast. And so there's kind of setting up the whole premise for this beer. Let's find out what the ingredients we put in there for the malts. Well, we've got two different base malts in here. We've got Rahr's Alex 2-Row from Alberta, Canada. Now, that's probably the most used 2-row from North America, and it's 26 pounds or 63% of the malt bill. Then we've also got some English Maris Otter from our favorite maltster, Crisp, and that's all floor malted barley. That's 10 pounds or 24%. So you can see that's really the bulk of that beer is those two base malts. Then we add 4 pounds or 10% of our malt bill of Castle Malting. Use their biscuit malt, which comes from Belgium. It's just got a beautiful bouquet and nice, really biscuity flavor to it. And then we got 1 pound of dried cranberries. We'll get to that later, which really is 3% of the malt bill. If you want to talk about cranberries being malts, they're not, but it plays an important role in this beer. So we mash all those malts in after we mill them at 148 degrees. We want it a little bit lighter. We want a clean fermentation. We want to be able to get that 7.3%. We don't want a big mouthfeel. We want more of a thin beer so we can bring out the hoppiness and bring out that cranberry flavor. So 1 hour at 148, then we sparge it out at 170 degree water. So that means we can strip all those cloying sugars off the husks of those grains and collect them in our boil kettle so we can boil it for 1 hour. So we're going to start with an original gravity of 1.072. That's how we start our boil. And we boil it for 1 hour. We add some hops. At 60 minutes, we're adding 2 ounces of Northern Brewer hops, and they give us 26 IBUs. At 15 minutes, we got 2 hop additions. We got some more Northern Brewers. We put 2 more ounces, gives us 7 IBUs, and we put in 4 ounces of UK Fuggles, and that gives us another 5 IBUs. Then at 5 minutes, we put a bunch of hops because we want a little hop aroma, a little hop flavor, and we put in 6 ounces of both UK Fuggles and Willamette hops. That gives us 10 more IBUs. So that's a bunch of hops in there for a half barrel batch. Boil. When it's all done, we transfer it to our secondary fermentation at 165 degrees, and we let it rise all the way up to 168 for its top temperature. We let it ferment for 2 weeks. Because it's a pretty big beer, we want to make sure we get that clean fermentation. Our terminal gravity now is at 1018, 1.018. Oh, I missed an important step. 20 minutes left in that boil, we add 1 pound of dried organic cranberries. It's really important to put them in that early because we want to boil them. We want to at that temperature they're going to kind of fall apart. They're going to open up, and you're going to get the insides and all the juices and all the deliciousness of that cranberry is going to get brought into that beer. It's also going to be completely sanitary because we're going to boil it for 20 minutes, and that way that's not going to have any imparting odd flavors, any weird yeast that are going to live through there, and it's just going to be pure cranberry enjoyment. 2 weeks fermentation, we pull it out and put it in secondary for another 2 weeks. It's 32 degrees. That's where we get it clarified. And so here is what this beer looks like. It's very clear, and the color will be 9.1 SRM. And 9.1, some of our IPAs, I believe Bothell IPA was like at 6.8, so it's a little bit darker. It's kind of a dark golden color. Well, let's smell it. What I love about this beer is I get some of that hoppy, earthy hoppiness to it, and I get just a wonderful cranberry aroma to it. It just smells like Thanksgiving in a glass. And I look forward to this beer every year. It's a short time that we do it. These are the kind of beers that you don't want to be brewing all the time, because you want to really, really anticipate these things when it comes to the seasonal time that they come out. This has got a great malt forwardness to it. Up front, you got the sweetness, the biscuity, the toasty. It's got that bready deliciousness. You get some of the heat from the alcohol at 7.3 in the back of your tongue. But boy, at the end, as you're getting that hoppiness and that cranberry, just slight tartness to it. So that sweetness and that tartness blend well with that hops, and it's just it's a delicious beer. No wonder why this goes so well with turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and gravy and the whole works. So how do you get this beer? Well, I'll tell you now, and I'll tell you again later. You got 3 tries this week. So traditionally, we would be open on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, from 2 to 3, where you could come in, have a pint, get your growlers filled, and go home and enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving. Well, we're still going to do the curbside pickup for growler fills, all pre-ordered, from 2 to 3. But there's nobody, we're not allowed to have people in our taste room, so there's no consumption on site. So after this, you're going to make sure you order your growlers of Cranberry Frost. They're $22 unless you have a prepaid growler card, and it's just one stamp on your card. And you go to the foggynogginbrewing.com website, hit the beer tab, and all the details are there. If you have any questions, you can always give me a call, 206-553-9223, or give us an email at foggynogginbrewing@comcast.net. Now, a little history on the cranberry, which is kind of interesting. They didn't come over here on the Mayflower. In fact, they were already here. Cranberries are as American as apple pie, in fact, even more so. Cranberries are one of only 3 fruits that are native to North America. There's some interesting trivia for you. In addition to the Concord grape and blueberries, the cranberry is native to North America. Long before the Pilgrims arrived in 1620, North American Indians combined crushed cranberries with dried deer meat and melted fat to make pemmican. And so pemmican's known as kind of like a jerky, so they would make a jerky using the cranberries in there and that fat, and they would cook it, and they'd have a delicious treat. A food they would keep for a long time. They believed the cranberry had medicinal properties. They'd use that for ointments and make liquids to pour on to heal things that was going on wrong. Later, American sailors carried barrels of cranberries on their voyages as a source of vitamin C to prevent scurvy, much like the British limeys carried limes upon ships. So a lot of vitamin C here, very nutritious, a lot of antioxidants. It's a healthy drink, and actually you can think about this. This is really it's a beer with a lot of health benefits. So, and it goes really good with your Thanksgiving dinner. You can only grow and survive under special combination factors. They require acid peat soil, adequate fresh water supply, and a prolonged growing season that stretches from April to November. Contrary to popular belief, cranberries do not grow in water, because people talk about the bogs they grow in. Indeed, they grow on vines and beds layered with sand, peat, gravel, and clay. These beds, commonly known as the bogs or marshes, were originally made by glacial deposits. Normally, growers do not have to replant each year, since the undamaged cranberry vine will still survive indefinitely. Some vines of Cape Cod, in the Cape Cod region, are hundreds of years old and still bearing fruit. In addition to Massachusetts, the major growing areas are New Jersey, Wisconsin, Washington, Oregon, and parts of Canada and Chile. A little history on the cranberry. So before I do another taste of this and give you some more details, let's see. We got Kim's here, we got Roxanne, we got Cindy, we got Zach, we got Lee, we got Zach asking a question about it's a little opaque. I don't see much light coming through. It's actually more opaque than this is. I think the lighting just tonight maybe not giving it justice. We got Wayne, we got Glenda, we got Daniel, we got Kate, we got Shelly, we got Allie, and Zach asks us, have you ever brewed a milder version of this golden ale? I have not. And the problem is, I always thought I was going to do this beer without the cranberries, and we'll try it straight up, but it's just so good with the cranberries I didn't want to disappoint myself. Have you brewed the golden ale without the cranberries? And that kind of answers the same thing. How about a beer with raisins? We actually do put, in our barley wine, we put some raisins in the barley wine and get some delicious things. And that's a lot of what you get out of the Crystal 120 is that raisiny character. Or a beer with blueberries. I think blueberries would be a fun beer to try. Maybe we could do dried blueberries similar to we do the cranberries, and we could have a blueberry beer. It's a good idea. How about a cran raisin frost? Well, it's another great idea. The best ideas come from drinking some really good beer and maybe that extra pint that you really shouldn't have had, but that's when all the great ideas come out. So it's a 7.3% beer. It's a big beer. It's not chewy. It's not a big mouthfeel. It's easy to drink. It's delicious. It's got upfront sweetness, upfront bready, biscuity flavors to it. It's got a little heat from the alcohol in the back of your tongue, and it's got a nice cranberry, just slightly tartness and that earthy, bitter dryness at the end. It just complements it. It's a well-rounded beer that just does well. I'm telling you that people are already ordering growlers for Thursday's pickup. So, for this weekend, we've got a total of 28 growlers that we started with, and I can't remember how many we got. But get your orders in now, and if you don't want to disappoint yourself and not have this for Thanksgiving, so you want to make sure you make plans, order it, secure it. You'll get a confirmation that the beer is yours, and you come pick it up Thanksgiving between 2 and 3, and you can have the best Thanksgiving meal you can ever have by complimenting it with this. It'll even make, if you ever watch a Christmas Vacation, and that turkey that Chevy Chase made, and it was just so overdone, it was just nothing but bones and just dried skin. This would even make that taste good. That's how good this is. It's 72 IBUs, but it's not I wouldn't call this a hoppy beer at all, because it just complements everything else going on in the beer so well. We've got 3 malts. We got crisp Maris Otter, 10 pounds, 24% of the malt bill. Alex 2-row, North American 2-row, 26 pounds, 63% of the malt bill, and 4 pounds of Castle biscuit malt and 10% of the malt bill. 1 pound of dried cranberries go in at 20 minutes left in the boil. Make sure you use organic dried cranberries, and that's the way you're going to make sure no pesticides or any kind of weird stuff gets put into your beer. Before I get to the hops, Zach says, do you drink the cranberry frost with every part of the Thanksgiving meal, even pie? Well, don't know. I don't know if I bet you I haven't. I usually don't drink beers with pie, but I'll tell you that double coconut duck, I might have some of that left over. That would be a really good one to go with pie. This probably really would go with pie. Depends what kind of pie. So, I always have cranberry pie for Thanksgiving. I don't know what you guys have, but this would probably go really good with cranberry pie. Probably go good with an apple berry pie. Any kind of a berry pie, anything with apples in it, I think go really well with for dessert. But man, this goes so good with turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, stuffing, sweet potatoes. Those are all my favorite things, and this beer on top of it just makes everything so good. So we have a lot of hops in here. 60 minutes left in the boil. Right when it first cracks that boil, we add 2 ounces of Northern Brewer for 26 IBUs. We got 15 minutes. We put in 2 ounces of Northern Brewer again for 7 IBUs and 4 ounces of UK Fuggles for 5 IBUs. And then 5 minutes left in the boil. Put 6 ounces each of Willamette and UK Fuggles. That's a lot. You get a lot of hop trub at the end of that boil, and it's well worth it because it just really goes well with it. And Diana just joined, and Allie just joined too. So welcome. And I think John just joined. We got a lot of people interested in this beer. Well, this is everybody. This is the ultimate Thanksgiving beer, and I just really would. I wish all of you guys could arrange to order and pick up a growler of this for your Thanksgiving dinner. I know Thanksgiving's a little different this year. It's not going to be like our normal Thanksgivings, but our curbside pickup's very safe. We wear masks, and it's well worth it if you have the opportunity to get it. So it's $22 unless you have a prepaid growler card. That's just one notch on your growler card. So that's the advantage of the growler cards. And we've had a couple of growler cards ordered because people want to take advantage of this beer, and no better way of doing it than using that prepaid growler card and getting this beer for basically free. I mean, that's the way you look at it. Those you pay for that prepaid growler card, $150 for 12 growler fills. You almost feel like every growler that you get is almost free at that point. I don't know. The math doesn't work, but that's the way I feel. Delicious. So Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, 2 to 3 curbside pickup. Friday and Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m., just like we would normally do each week. Plus, we got lots of other really great beers to offer you for your growler fills. And, we got a 4-day weekend coming up, and so you're going to need some beer for this weekend to get through it all. With some sanity out there, because it's not a normal Thanksgiving weekend. You've got Black Friday coming up, and you've got probably putting Christmas lights on the house or whatever you do for decorations for the holidays. Beer really makes all those things work a little bit better. So we've got a bunch of them, so check out our foggynogginbrewing.com website and hit the beer tab, and we list everything on there, and some of them are very limited. We still have a few growlers left of the double coconut duck, which, oh my God, if you haven't had that, it's fantastic. And the double chocolate duck, talk about decadence. Man, those are outstanding beers. And we are going to be doing next week on next Wednesday for our virtual tasting of the featured FN beer is going to be Butch's Brew, which is our award-winning hazelnut brown ale. And that is always a great, great beer. And I can't wait to taste that one. So that's next Wednesday. Now, I know I'm going to disappoint you all in saying because it's Thanksgiving, we're not doing a virtual happy half hour tomorrow. Because it's Thanksgiving, we're going to take the day off. We're not even going to put a encore performance on. We're going to let you enjoy yourself. But people say, what would you listen to? Well, I think with your Thanksgiving dinner, I like classical music. I think little Mozart is always good. Little Chopin. But if you want a little more contemporary, George Winston. If you're not familiar with George Winston, check out some George Winston music, and maybe you can find it on your Amazon Prime or on iHeartRadio or whatever you listen to music on. Look for George Winston. I think you'll really enjoy that. And he's got a great album called Autumn, and it's perfect for a Thanksgiving dinner. Zach says a double chocolate duck and pumpkin pie with whipped cream, please. Well, I can't disagree. I think that's a great combo right there. So I'm going to let you guys go. I want to kick off your 4-day weekend with this cheers, and I hope to see you guys Thursday, Friday, Saturday, curbside pickup, and everyone stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, everyone.